Come to me.
So let's talk about the look of Count Orlok in the upcoming Nosferatu film, which is going to be coming out on Christmas Day, and we will be doing a live watch party of the original Nosferatu. Stay tuned for that announcement. But they just recently talked about Bill Skarsgård's look for Count Orlok, which has been hidden and pretty much out of sight until the film comes out, and this has just been confirmed from Robert Eggers and the team of Nosferatu. Before we get into it, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Trying to get to 35,000 subscribers. We will be doing a giveaway on our Instagram coming up on Wednesday. Go over there and go vote for your favorite horror movie in the community polls as well, because we are trying to find out what's the best horror movie of 2023 now. We just recently had Smile 2 win for 2024, and I thought to myself, why did I do this poll so early? Because Nosferatu is not even out. Could Nosferatu take on Smile 2? We'll find out later in the year. But let's talk about what Nosferatu is going to be having Count Orlok look like according to this new Entertainment Weekly piece that just came out. So they talk about how they had Bill Skarsgård sort of find his voice of sorts, and he would record audio recordings and send it to the filmmaking team until they found the right one, which he kind of describes as tiger growl, which is just him breathing as Orlok. And he thought about a scene in which Thomas Hutter, who is played by Nicholas Hoult, starts to bleed, and he sort of gets aroused by the sight of the blood. He goes on to say this, Nicholas Hoult, about the voice of Count Orlok. It was unlike anything I've heard before, he tells Entertainment Weekly. It was chilling to me. Rob was playing it off of his phone, but it still filled the room. And Skarsgård talks about this voice that he made for Count Orlok, saying that he really wanted a very deep and resonant voice, and this is him talking about the director Robert Eggers. The character is somewhat paradoxical because he's very powerful and demanding, but there's something frail about him as well because he's a corpse. So the voice needs to be very powerful, but at the same time there needs to be some sort of fragility or almost pain and labor in his breathing and talking. And I think we've seen that in the original Nosferatu film. Count Orlok is still this very much so skinny corpse that is just trying to sort of put his hands on this town, and we see it throughout in the film as he is just trying to sort of get them on his side through persuasion and terror and all of that. So I'm curious to hear how this voice really came out to be for Bill Skarsgård. According to the Entertainment Weekly piece, it says that Skarsgård partially secluded himself from the rest of the cast ahead of filming. He would see folks on the weekend, but on shoot days, he maintained his distance from the likes of Lily Rose Depp, Willem Dafoe, Emma Corrin, and Aaron Taylor Johnson, and Ralph Ineson, in order to have the impact of him seeing him transform for the first time be that much more powerful. They've also gone on to say that trailers and photos are obscuring Count Orlok in order to have you see Count Orlok on the day you go watch this movie on Christmas Day, and this is actually something they liken to Longlegs. Robert Eggers went on to say that this was the right decision in order to give the audience that much more impactful first sight at Count Orlok. Willem Dafoe talked about this as well, saying, "I'd hate to spoil anything," and he actually plays a character that is being described as Van Helsing-esque, which I'll talk about in the video coming out later this week about Nosferatu, that Professor Alvin Everhard von Franz is the character Willem Dafoe is playing. Now that is a mouthful. He says, "The only thing that I thought was really great and felt really fresh is he looks like he could have been from Romania as opposed to a suave English guy or something. He had a look that was rooted in historic accuracy and folk tradition." We also have Skarsgård adding, "I think the best way to discover Orlok is through the movie for the first time. The movie functions on that as well. He lives in the shadows for a long time, and it teases the reveal of the character as the movie progresses." We have Robert Eggers talking about the look in the movie that F.W. Murnau directed, which was the Nosferatu film back in the 30s, and talks about growing up in rural New Hampshire and being much so fascinated by vampire books, and also coming across the look of Count Orlok for the first time growing up. He said, "I thought that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. It just had this very daunting atmosphere," he says, of the movie. "It almost felt real. Now when you watch the restorations, you can see all the makeup and the fake glued on hair and the bald cap in the version I saw as a kid that wasn't there. It had kind of a beauty and maybe, dare I say, authenticity authenticity to it. I agree, restorations kind of mess up movies for me as well. I will be reading more of the article for the video where I'm breaking down more of Nosferatu and my thoughts on it, because then it goes on to talk about Lily Rose Depp's character. And I think right here in this video, I just wanted to talk about them keeping the look of Count Orlok is truly, I think, a masterful decision, because the intrigue is there, especially from reactions and reviews that have just recently come out and people just describing his character as best as they can. I think it adds even more to that allure and getting people to come out to the theaters to see it, which is insane. A horror movie on Christmas Day. I think that that is something that we've needed. It's happened before. I'm not going to say this is the first time it's ever happened, but I think in this time and age, it is just truly a great thing to see. And I'm excited to see what Bill Skarsgård as Count Orlok will look like. But even more than that, I'm just excited for this movie. There's just so much about it that just sounds right up my alley, and it just really gets me even more pumped. But let me know what you think about this decision. I think it worked for Longlegs great. You saw how it did. Everybody went out to see it opening day because they were just all itching to see what Nicolas Cage looked like as Longlegs. Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. And I'm curious if they're gonna try and tease that in some way for Count Orlok, like they did a couple of weeks or two before Longlegs came out. They were sort of teasing that first reveal and everything, remember? And I think that that definitely worked for that, but I don't know if it works for Count Orlok. Keep the mystique, keep the mystery, don't make it into a gimmick, and I think that people will be there. But let me know what you think about Count Orlok and Bill Skarsgård playing Count Orlok in Nosferatu. Are you watching this movie opening weekend, or are you waiting to hear more of the reviews and reactions? I will be watching it a couple of weeks prior, before it releases, and I'll give you my thoughts and reactions on it. But I also want to do a watch party for the original one, and I'll have that announcement next week about the day we're going to do that. So if you want to watch it with us, we are going to be watching it. I think it's on YouTube with some ads and stuff, so not too bad. So we'll definitely talk more about that as we get it. But let me know what you think about Count Orlok's look being a mystery. Do you like it or do you not? Comment below, follow us for more on all the things you love. Go comment and vote for your favorite horror movie of 2023 on our community polls, and also follow us on Instagram for a giveaway that's going to be announced tomorrow. So make sure you are doing all of that, and I'll see all of you next time. As always, let's get to 35,000 subscribers. Stay safe, stay positive.
There is a devil in this world, and I have met him.